Check, 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 check. Check, check. I'm trying out my podcast mic, basically. I don't want it to come apart because I know the connection kind of iffy. But I'm just hold it close right here so you can hear me good. But today is August 21st. And I'm excited. I'm happy because I came in late, but I'm up because I got a natural high right now. Because I want to talk about something very important. Well, I think it's very important to the music industry, and it's called identity. And identity is important just because, in my opinion, it helps cement your sound, your identity, symbolism, imagery, whatever, in the minds of people for generations. Okay. And so this all started because I've been thinking about this since Thursday. Because Thursday, I got to link up with a grinding artist in the city by the name of OG Big Guy. So OG Big Guy, he put me on game of basically like what the music industry is kind of doing right about now today in terms of sampling. And so basically producers and musicians have access to like thousands and thousands and thousands of royalty-free samples, meaning that you don't have to pay anybody or include people on royalties or something for your for these samples. Pretty much they royalty free. So you can take them, do whatever. So basically, I'm old school. I come from an era where you hear something good and you want to sample it. You got to record that bitch. You got to stretch that bitch and put it in your sessions. Do what you got to do. So my oldest example of that shit, I was probably like 17. I did Love TKO, the dum 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 da 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 dum 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 dum. Like I took that and made the beat. But if the beat would have like really blew up and somebody would have used it, then like I probably would have had like there was some lawsuits behind it, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of services and a lot of things out here now that you don't have to like do that with. You could just get nice loops and they be damn near like complete. You just take it, throw it in your shit, put some drums behind it. You got a whole song. I'm like, damn, that's easy as fuck if you know how to work the softwares and shit. You don't really have to be a real musician to do this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But me, I'm a real musician. So I've been thinking like, is that a problem? Does a producer really maintain his own identity, or a musician have any identity if they using shit from somebody else? And the answer is yes. I totally feel like that's true. Now, if you don't have skills, maybe, or if you don't know music, then maybe some of the things that you download samples wise and all that type of shit gonna sound just like the whoever made it intended to, and it's gonna be their identity. And maybe some drums that might be your identity. You know what I'm saying? But like another example is that I'm finna link with a producer today by the name of Ace King. And I'm finna hang with him and a lot of his artist homies and stuff. We're finna make some great shit. And I'm gonna put him on game too. But here's an example. Ace King can get the same sample. I can get the same sample. And we're gonna make two totally different sounding beats. I know it because he's a great producer. And we're gonna spin the shit off. You feel me? So the only reason why I'm comparing us two and I'm talking about that is because what's stopping anybody, even you right now watching my damn video, what's stopping you from downloading samples from said place and then it's like, oh, I make something from that? What's gonna stop you from sounding like everybody else that's using the same shit? And that's why I said identity is important. And so a good example of understanding identity and understanding that a lot of shit gets imitated. Designer, Future, Rich Homie Quan and Future at one point in time. They was talking about they sound the same, but they definitely had different styles, in my opinion. It's another guy sound like Pop Smoke coming out now. Goddamn, let me see. Who is sounding like somebody right about now? Oh we. I don't know. It ain't nothing popping up in mind right now. But that's just the nature of music. That's just the nature of creation or invention, period. Like you don't reinvent the wheel. You feel me? You make it better. So as mankind, we don't never really like come up with something totally new. But we are in the age now. So that's another topic. We're in the age of like innovation, like some different totally new shit starting to happen now in the world. But in terms of music, nah. We kind of been in the same style of music since the 1920s, to be honest with you. That's another conversation. But your identity is very important. And so I'm gonna highlight some shit I learned. I learned about a famous composer that nobody ever would talk about, black composer in the 1700s, French actually learned that the term mulatto is basically nigga in French from studying his story, because he was born from a slave owner and a slave woman. You know what I'm saying? His dad wanted him to not be in that slave life, so he put him in aristocrat society. But he eventually learned to play violin and became that nigga. Literally, that nigga. Like, for real. Fucking all the bitches. That nigga. Like, for real. And goddamn, he was on doing shows and shit, even though a lot of people still didn't give him his flowers correctly. He was on before Mozart was on. And it's proof. It is proof that Mozart was inspired by him. This is a black man. His name is Joseph Boulanger. Mozart was inspired by this man. And I guess he might have attended one of his shows. But since he was like a black dude and he had something to prove, his identity behind his musical compositions, not his playing style, because he already could play. And that's his playing style gave him his identity. But his identity, when he composed the music, it's like, if you don't see this man's face, if you don't hear him play, you could understand his identity behind his music. We talking about some shit that's like 300, 400 some years old, and I can resonate with this deceased black soul. Definitely can, because his music spoke to me. I could hear what he was doing and what he may have been feeling from the way his music was written. And I could tell you one thing, he had something to prove. He had something to prove. He amongst the aristocrats of society and all of France, and he was trying to let people know that I'm that nigga. And so his music was very challenging and did a lot of dazzling shit. And I mean, go from highs to lows and all type of shit. So it's like this melody. I can't remember exactly how it sounds. I tried to imitate it, but it's like some shit on the violin. It's like, like it should just be like really high. Then it's like, it go really low and then come back up. Mozart took the same motherfucking melody in one of his songs. And it's like the historians have proved it and shown it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, as musicians, we do that. We get inspired by one another. So that's why I'm saying identity is important. And it's not just the sounds you use, it's your melodic composition. I had to explain to my roommate, because we both came up playing instruments in the band. Like, I'm a low brass player. I play a lot of flat keys. I love a lot of C minor, a lot of B minor, a lot of A minor, A flat minor, a lot of A minor, a lot of F minor, a lot of G flat minor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love a lot of my minor keys. Like, that's because I came up playing low brass. I know a lot of flat keys. Well, I could play major keys too, but, you know, minor sounds good in hip hop. But I mean, I know a lot of flat keys because I played low brass instruments. So naturally, my melodic thought process comes out in that way. That's my identity. Musically, melodically, that's my identity. You know, and I like a lot of elongated, simple little melodies, and I really love minimalistic concepts. That's my identity. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? But what's your identity? What makes you sound different from half of the shit that's going on in the industry today? And then, like Kanye, I love watching Kanye because Kanye is so goddamn rich and on. Ever since he really started doing the 808s and heartbreaks, he been always trying to push the mold, daring to be different. Like, if this is what music's supposed to be, this is Kanye. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, half the shit he gonna do ain't gonna be accepted. Not in this time. But years down the road, it will be. It will be. Because I can remember a time an artist like Travis Scott would not have been appreciated in the black culture. But the shit that Kanye was doing pushed the mold so a Travis Scott can be accepted by the hoodest and hoodest motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just the pushing the bounds of what music is. That's hard because we can all echo and sound like one another. The sounds of the era. But who is going to really bring something new to the table? And that's where your identity comes into place at. And I feel that is very important for music because your identity will help your music live on forever. It'll live longer than you. Take care of your kids. So, food for thought. The truth with Bdp Soundz. Get your identity right. I'm out.